this is unbelievable. From one of, if not the most respected coaches in the league, Mike Tomlin. I mean, out of freaking nowhere, here it comes. Man, he got some shrapnel. Okay, so you're going to learn. You're still young. You're making money. But this is stunning. This is unprecedented. Going along, you're trying to win a quarterback battle, and you get your ass beat by Danny Dimes. That's what happened to Anthony Richardson. Okay, so you're going to learn. You're still young. You're making money. You got a rap career. You got $8 million in tattoos. But hey, you're one of the cool kids, had a baby. You're minding your own business. You're Anthony Richardson. Your team's 3-0. You know at some point Danny Dimes is going to get hurt, and you are going to have a chance to lead the team late in the year. At least that's how I look at it. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere. I mean, out of freaking nowhere, here it comes. From one of, if not the most respected coaches in the league, Mike Tomlin. I mean, this is out of nowhere. Listen to this. You're not going to believe this. Not only does your own team not trust you, all right, we made that clear, right? I mean, they started the other guy, for crying out loud, but now we're getting insight from other NFL coaches on how they feel about the former number 4 pick of the Colts, Anthony Richardson. While talking about the team's Week 4 game against the Vikings, Mike Tomlin reveals the Steelers' harsh yet actual strategy against the Colts last year and against Richardson last year. How this came up, I'll try to piece it together for you. They wanted to make sure that Richardson stayed in the game. That's basically what it is. They wanted Richardson to make sure he stood up because they didn't want Flacco in the game. Tomlin didn't want the team to be forced to turn to backup Joe Flacco over the number 4 pick in the draft. Now think about that for a second, just a second, because he saw the 87,000-year-old fresh off the couch Flacco as a bigger threat than the 22-year-old at the time, number 4 pick, Anthony Richardson. Listen to Tomlin here. This is unbelievable.
In the short term that Carson is playing for him. We were in a similar situation a year ago. We were playing in Indianapolis, man, and I commented to the guys that, keep Richardson upright. Don't put Flacco in the game, and Flacco ended up in the game.
So here's the connection. J.J. McCarthy is out. Carson Wentz is in, and he was basically saying last year we would have rather played against J.J. McCarthy, i.e., Anthony Richardson, as opposed to the more veteran Joe Flacco, who now, when you spin it to what he was actually talking about, has become Carson Wentz. Look, that's not like Steve Young replacing Joe Montana. Guys, this is 49-year-old Joe Flacco and Carson effing Wentz. That's who you'd rather play against than these prize number 1 picks. We'll get into maybe why NIL is hurting young quarterbacks in a minute, but this is stunning. This is unprecedented. While Tomlin's game plan for the contest shouldn't come as a massive surprise, kinda does. His willingness to say it publicly should raise some eyebrows. It absolutely does, as opposing coaches rarely throw another player under the bus or speak negatively about another player's ability. The fact that Tomlin was so open, so honest about what he thought about Richardson is surprising and incredibly bold. This is from Yahoo Sports. It is. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I really don't. Where you publicly, in a game that doesn't involve Richardson, the Colts, you publicly, it's not throwing a guy under the bus. It's 2 things. One, it's telling you how the league's coaches feel about Anthony Richardson. And 2, it's telling you that there is a complete disrespect for J.J. McCarthy and Anthony Richardson around the league. See, this isn't just about Anthony Richardson. This is the shot at J.J. McCarthy. I mean, as I just said, I want you to think about this. Steve Young became a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't think anybody's saying that about Joe Flacco. I don't know, maybe if he keeps playing until he's 90. I don't think anybody's talking about Carson Wentz. They were. There was a chance back when he was, well, probably going to be the MVP until he got hurt. But that ship has sailed, or has it? I don't see anybody the other way saying, hey, and including the Vikings, we really got to get McCarthy back. The Colts, we really got to get Richardson back. Oh, hell no. They're basically saying, hey, we're good, man. Hey, no, hey, we're good. Colts, I know, are good. You knew that by the players, Josh Downs and others, talking about prior to game one, the professionalism of Daniel Jones. I don't know what they're saying in Minnesota, except that the organization is saying, yeah, I don't think we're going back all that quick. We'll see. Basically, hey, Carson, you want to Wally Pip this kid? If you don't know the reference, look it up. You want to Wally Pip this kid? Go ahead. We're going to give you every opportunity because they've seen 8 quarters of J.J. McCarthy, only one of which was up to a professional standard, and was pretty good because he's one of, apparently, like Richardson, one of those guys whose talent is going to entice you. Danny Dimes looks like Danny Dimes. So the question then becomes, what should the Colts do with Richardson? Nothing. Educate him. Make damn sure he's ready to go for the inevitable. Daniel J. Dimes. I don't know if it's Daniel J. I'm Daniel J., so everybody should be Daniel J. Daniel J. Dimes runs, puts his head down, gets hit in the head. Next thing you know, he's out for a few weeks, stinger or possible concussion because that's how he runs. It's dumb. It's Richardson-esque. So what would I do with Richardson? Hey, man, 23 years old, immense talent. Get in your playbook, get off Nintendo or whatever the hell, the Game Boy or whatever the hell it is, and become a professional quarterback because I have said this, although I have bet against it. Richardson is going to have impact on the Colts season late in the year when it's all said and done. I'm just telling you. That's the way it's going to be. It is going to happen. I hope it doesn't. I hope Daniel J. Dimes becomes the MVP. Double D going to get a massive payout. But having said that, we shall see. That's what I would do with Richardson. A lot of people are saying, move him to tight end. I would also maybe also get a package for him. Colts have really struggled in the red zone. The play calling, abysmal, uncreative. With Richardson, they were pretty creative. I'd get a package, little packy for that. I'm fascinated. It's Ireland. I think it's Ireland or Germany or England. I don't know. It's 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. You got the Ryder Cup starting at 7. You got that at 9:30. Ucha capesta, my eyes are burning. We got a weekend. I'll get into that as well. What's going on this weekend? Whoa. Get yourself a big, fat bowl of chips, some French onion dip. Get that remote in your hand. Get you a Diet Coke. Maybe you get yourself a cup of Java, maybe 7,000 beers, and sit on your fat ass. This weekend is a weekend you root for rain. You do. You root for rain. All right. This is a perfect story for a Friday. You ready? Here it is. We all know college football fans are completely unlike anything else. They're totally out of their mind. Here at Indiana, we think we have the best team in the country, the Heisman Trophy, and everything runs through Bloomington, Indiana. Not in basketball with Bob Knight, but in football with Kirk Cinetti. Hey, this Oklahoma fan is a perfect embodiment of how insane college football can be. The story starts, listen to this story. Quarterback Oklahoma, John Mateer, injured. He got a hand injury that required hand surgery. All right, knowing how valuable he is to the Sooners' playoff hopes, Oklahoma got Mateer a procedure with Dr. Stephen Shin, who is widely regarded as the best hand surgeon in the world. I said the world. In Oklahoma, I don't know. Anyway, but the fan reaction to Dr. Shin, well, that's what makes college football fans unique. Here, how about this? In a move straight out of fan folklore, Carson Grain, a 19 graduate of Oklahoma, according to social media, showed up Wednesday morning at Cedars-Sinai Orthopedic Center where Mateer was scheduled for surgery and decided to gift Doctor an OU pennant to thank him for his services and work on the Sooner Stars' hand. Here it is. Here we go. Let's go.
Hi, good morning. I had an appointment today. My friend John's coming in to get surgery today with Dr. Stephen Shin. Is he here in this office?
This is Dr. Shin's office.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I was wondering if I could drop off something for the doctor. Is that possible? It's just like a little gift.
Yeah.
Right there.
This is so cute.
It's just
I'll
for...
go take it to him.
I really appreciate it.
Who's the patient?
John. His name is John. Yeah. Take a pen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well.
Alright guys, so as you can see, pop off a little gift for the doctor just to make sure that he knows that we are thinking of him, we're counting on him. We know he's gonna do some great work today. I'll put a little picture right here so you can see what the gift was. But overall, vibes are high today in Los Angeles. Couldn't ask for anything better. Once again, this is field reporter Carson Graham reporting live on the ground from Cedars-Sinai Orthopedic Center. Vibes are great. Vibes are high. Let's make some great stuff. And let's go Mike. Why not? Let's have a day. Let's go Mike.
Yeah. All right. Guys are weird. God is great. Beer is good. And people are crazy. Here's some screenshots. Dr. Shin on October 4th, if John Mateer's surgery goes well. Here's a little screenshot from 105 Sooner. Yeah! Look, now everybody knows who this guy is. Now he's going to be riding the Boomer Schooner. Here we go, Dr. Shin Part 2. Breaking. With a successful surgery today, Dr. Shin will now be featured on the OU intro videos for the remainder of the season. A Sooner legend. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Dr. Shin for Heisman. Oh, no. We got to get it to Fernando. No. Look at that. That's pretty good. The strongest hand in poker isn't the royal flush. It's whatever hand Dr. Shin worked on. Hey, Oklahoma, I salute you. These are pretty good, man. How about this? Thank God for a successful procedure. This is from Mateer. Dr. Shin is the GOAT. Boomer Sooner. I love it. No, I love it. Good for him. Good for them. Hey, that's college football, baby. And you know I'm down to clown always, so let's get clowning. All right, hey, by the way, I'm going to have a couple prize picks for you this afternoon. This episode, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks, and frankly, I'm addicted. I love it. I do. I'll explain how to do it. You and I make decisions every single day. But on Prize Picks, being right gets you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is very simple to play. You pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection. If you get your picks right, you cash in and can win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. One of your players leaves the game in the first half, you get your cash back and doesn't return. Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. That's pretty good. It's Prize Picks. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users, including me, Double Dizzle, and sign up today. And once again, we have another max discount I want to bring to your attention this week. Coming Sunday, the 28th, Jalen Hurts more than 0.5 passing yards. That's right. If he gets at least 1 yard passing, you win. A lot of people don't think Hurts can throw, but he can do that. Download your Prize Picks app today. I do. Use code DAKICH, I did, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DAKICH to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. I've been right a lot. I'm going to have picks for you in the second hour, and I can't wait. I'm kind of addicted to it. I am. It's really fun. It makes games that maybe you're watching or maybe you're paying attention to a lot more fun. Simple, more or less. Oh, easy. Speaking, we were, of college quarterbacks, OUTKICK'S Austin Perry wrote a fascinating piece on how the NIL can be killing young quarterback development. Our friend Teddy Greenstein wrote a fascinating book on how dads are killing young quarterback development. Think about DJ Ungale and others. Quarterbacks like Arch Manning, DJ Langway, Bryce Underwood seem to have fallen into seven-figure bank accounts. They're seven-figure bank accounts, all because they had a certain number of stars next to their name coming out of high school. Yet when it's come time to perform on the field, there's been varying results. Underwood's been pretty good. Langway disappointed. Arch, major disappointment. If a booster is paying a freshman signal caller a couple $1 million a year, it wouldn't make sense for them to ride the bench, right? I mean, Arch Manning is an aberration. This brings us to Dave Portnoy's infamous ultimatum, which, well, he made during Michigan's loss to Oklahoma earlier this year. I don't know what Jolene, who makes reference to here, is the wife. Oh, there's a reference to Jolene, who is the wife of Oracle CEO Larry Ellison, with the couple putting up $12 million to secure the services of Bryce Underwood to play at Michigan. Here's what Portnoy had to say in about 2 seconds away from texting Jolene and telling her to call Sharon right now and tell him he's gone if you don't let the kid throw the football. Now, Dave Portnoy jokes about certain things, but to a coach, that ain't no joke. To an AD, that's real, 100% real. Big money is making it so that these kids don't have a choice when it comes to needing time to develop. In today's game of NIL and instant gratification, boosters would have been clamoring to see their investments take the field as early as possible, and players like Tebow Watson would have probably suffered as a result. Those of you that don't remember, Urban wins a national championship with Chris Leak and Tebow. He's about the only coach that could do that. When Tebow was a freshman, he became a legend. People forgot how good Chris Leak was. But man, here is the possible negative aspect of NIL being overlooked. Everyone talks about the strains on athletic department's budget and, of course, the transfer portal, but perhaps more people need to take a hard look at how big money dollars are hurting quarterback development. Now, Arch Manning is like the poster child you see right there. Return on investment, lack thereof, Arch Manning. Cole Klubnik, I said the other day, I don't know. He just looks like every other guy. He doesn't look anything special to me. He looks like Sam Ellinger without the, I don't even know without, because I don't know what Sam Ellinger has other than good attitude. Nico is just a mess. I mean, Nico's dad has screwed up his career, maybe worse than anybody ever. And Avery Johnson, no, not the basketball player / coach at Kansas State. It hasn't gone well. Man, guys like Kurt Signetti finding Curtis Rourke, the MAC Player of the Year, not a big money deal, not a crazy-ass dad, not crazy-ass fanfare, just I'm tough enough to play, as he did, Rourke, on a torn ACL. It's pretty good. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm with you. But I think the jury is still out. I do, on Underwood. I think Underwood's pretty good. Jury's probably still out on Arch Manning. Can everybody except me be so wrong about it? I don't know. All right, let's talk about it. This is interesting. The UEFA, the great and moral authority of soccer, wants to suspend Israel over the war in Gaza. What? Spare me the fake righteousness. Stop with the righteousness. Soccer. It's like I said about the Ryder Cup. It's golf. So all of a sudden, after decades of countries playing through wars, invasions, corrupt scandals, state-run doping programs, you name it, if Russia hosts a World Cup while invading Crimea, no problem. Qatar buys half the soccer world with oil dollars while their human rights record's in the basement. Everybody's smiling, cashing checks. But Israel, suddenly, the UEFA finds its backbone, finds its moral compass. This is where you draw the line? Please, give me a break. European soccer body, UEFA, is moving toward a vote to suspend its member federation, Israel, over the war in Gaza. People familiar with the proposal told the Associated Press on Thursday a majority of the Union of European Football Association, 20-member executive committee, is expected to support any vote in favor of suspending Israeli teams from international play. Such a step would prevent Israeli national and club teams from playing in international competitions, including the World Cup. Israel's men's team is set to resume its World Cup qualifying campaign in 2 weeks with away games against Norway and Italy. It's unclear whether World Soccer body FIFA would support excluding Israel given the close relations between FIFA's leader, Gianni Infantino, and President Donald Trump. The Trump administration's support to secure the World Cup and process visa for players, officials, and potentially hundreds and thousands of visiting fans is seen as a key to FIFA delivering a successful tournament in the US of A. Canada and, of course, Mexico next year. Yeah, it's in those other countries, too. State Department spokesman said it will work to stop any efforts that try to ban Israel's team from the World Cup. FIFA's ruling council is scheduled to meet in Zurich next week. 37-member council includes 8 from UEFA. FIFA declined to comment on Thursday. Infantino is based this week at FIFA's satellite office in the Trump Tower. How about that, in Manhattan? While attending events on the fringes of the United Nations General Assembly. How about that? The office building is in the Trump Tower. Trump wants Israel in. Israel will be in if they can get in. They got to qualify. That's ridiculous. Man. Hey, a man was arrested this month after reportedly scaling a fence at Travis Kelce's estate in the dead of night to try to serve Taylor Swift deposition papers tied to a Hollywood legal fight. A man was arrested after scaling the fence at Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce's home earlier this month, and it was reportedly because he was trying to serve Taylor Swift a deposition subpoena. According to reports, the man identified as Justin Lee Fisher climbed the fence outside the Chiefs star home in Leawood, Kansas, while he and his fiancée were both in the house. Considering Kelce was one of numerous high-profile athletes and celebrities whose home was burglarized over the last year or so, you can understand why security would be tight. According to TMZ, he was trying to serve Swift with deposition papers from the actor Justin Baldini's legal team. This comes as the actor is in the midst of a highly publicized legal battle with actress Blake Lively. This comes after the two co-starred in the film Ends With Us. As part of this, Baldini filed a $400 million countersuit against the actress, and in this, he named Swift, who was friends with Lively. It has since been reported the two had a falling out. I love lawsuits. We need a lawsuit around here. We do. We need a good old-fashioned lawsuit. Get your pub. I told you I was going to tell you this story on the air when I did my YouTuber Twitter Live. McAfee, I've told this many times, I pick up McAfee at the airport. We're flying. We meet each other in Atlanta. Didn't know each other was going to be there. We were both headed to Bristol. So I tell Pat, he's sitting with me, next to me. He moves up, sits next to me. We're chatting. He goes, I'm going to Bristol. Blah, blah. I got to get a rent-a-car. I go, I'll take you. Just come on. When we land, I go get the rent-a-car that I had to have. I picked him up at baggage claim. We're driving down the highway. It's about 11:30 at night. And to Bristol, you got to go this way to Hartford, take a right. I don't know, one's 84, one's whatever. Then you go to Bristol. It's all highways. All of a sudden, I'm going about 90 because I'm tired and I just want to get there, and I drive fast by rule. I smell a skunk, except it ain't a skunk. It's McAfee smoking the ganj. I'm like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Roll the window down. What? I go, I'm going. You could have told me. I don't smoke weed. I don't take gummies because of a lot of issues. One is paranoia. I don't need it in my life. But I'm like, hey, if you told me I'd be going the speed limit, now our car smells like weed. And he goes, hey, man, oh, that'd help our street cred. You kidding me? That'd help our street cred big time. I just started laughing. But now I think about it, hey, what the hell? Kind of right. Anyway, Dan, have you ever been served? Yeah, one time. Bob Knight was doing a lawsuit, or there was a lawsuit. Ron Felling, assistant coach, Bob Knight. Yeah, they gave me a deposition. They didn't serve it to me. They contacted my lawyer, and I said, no, I ain't going. I said, you guys are going to leak it. You always leak stuff. No, it's sealed. I don't know, about 2 months later, I'm watching Channel 13 News, and, well, there's Pat Knight in his deposition being leaked to Channel 13 News. So, Dan, what's the craziest thing you've ever done to meet somebody? It was either 1985 or 1986, Idiots Across America tour. Me and my buddy, Chuck Fattori, got in a car. He was trying to get a job. He got a job at Colorado basketball. We drove to Colorado. He did his interview. We stayed in the car. We drove to Vegas. We went from there. We went to Anaheim, L.A., and I wanted to meet Leah Thompson, who was the hottest young actor at the time. And we're driving around Hollywood. All of a sudden, at that Chinese theater, there's paparazzi outside. I stop, jump out. Yo, what's going on here? Oh, the premiere of Howard the Duck, starring, you guessed it, Leah Thompson. So I said, yo. He goes, yeah, you can't get in, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, what happens here? They go, well, the stars come down. They come down the red carpet, which was right there, take a picture over there. It's the same kind of deal you've seen on TV. He goes, however, they're going to leave the back door. And he told me, he said, hey, man, don't go to the back door paparazzi are going to be at. There's another back door. So I did. I don't know if he was lying to me. I don't know, whatever. So he went, parked the car, went around, and I sat there in an alley. A bunch of people came out, but it wasn't Leah Thompson. That's the only time I have ever actually gone out of my way to see anybody, to meet anybody at any time. Although there was a hot girl named Bonnie Bright when I was in college, and I heard that she was at the fraternity party, and I happened to live in the fraternity at the time. And me being all full of blood and guts, I just kind of stood in the corner. I couldn't talk to girls. Girls scare me. Anyway, all right. Can I go back to college? Yeah, anybody can. You ever see Back to School by Rodney Dangerfield? Of course you can. According to reports, Colorado breweries are coming together to host the first ever bra-free run. And before you get all worked up and offended, it's for a good cause in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Proceeds from the event will go to a local breast cancer organization. I realize that's in college. I don't need that. Runners can run, walk, skip, do whatever floats their boat down 2 blocks in Denver without wearing bras. $20 fee, which includes a pre-race drink at the Emporium, followed by a yoga warm-up and then the titty trot. And a post-race drink at the alley. Sounds like fun. I mean, people are to lose their mind, but to me, it just sounds, hey, what are we doing? Let's go to the titty trot. Organizers bookended the event with stops at the breweries, tossed in some yoga, put together an attention-grabbing bra-free run. Now, that's how you organize an event to take on breast cancer. It all starts at 10, lasts till 1, which means you fought back against cancer and you don't have to miss the 1 o'clock kickoffs. They thought of everything when they put an event together. That's right. Here's the co-owner, Chelsea Rhodes, of the Alley Brewery. Hey, we wanted to create a community event that brings people together through laughter, awareness, and, of course, beer. Suds. We also wanted to remind everybody on the importance of early detection, self-exams, which is why there will also be a booth teaching about self-exams as well as educational materials about breast cancer. See, these breweries understand. Saturday, Sunday, Friday night, it's fun. Bring the attention with a bra-free run. Toss some beers in there. Raise some money for a great cause. Couple things. Purdue used to have a naked run around Cary Quad. They did. It was in the snow. You had to get naked. Harvard still does it. They do. Purdue's, it ended when, me too, you and me too, you looked at me wrong too, and all the other twos got mad. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the Harvard thing goes on. I believe that there's still a run around Harvard Square in the middle of campus. I don't know what they call it. I think it's Harvard Square. It's not Harvard Square, but it's something. I forget. There's a run. Davey, have you ever run outside naked?
Yeah, I have.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah?
Yep. College.
Tell a story.
Playing a game with some friends, some co-eds were around, and a lot of drinking had taken place. And it got to the point to where there was a bet to basically run about a half mile to the river. Ooh. And I wasn't the only one. It was a successful trip, Dan. And I got back, and fortunately no one ever saw it, and managed to get away and not have to worry about it and never tell the story until today.
You went to college, though, at a time when there were cameras on phones. There were pictures being taken and posted, right?
Yeah, but this was actually was more like a cabin trip getaway, so this wasn't on campus at least. Yeah, I would not have done that on campus. That's too risky.
Gotcha.
Man. I'm not like going full Will Ferrell and old school of like, hey, everybody, we're going streaking. No, it wasn't that to that extent.
As I look back on it, this might have been weird, but my buddy Mark Holcomb lived in the rich guy's neighborhood that attached to the Gary Country Club, and we would go polar bearing. We'd go run across, buck naked, cross the neighborhood, cross the golf course. The fence for the pool at the Gary Country Club was this high. In fact, one night, a couple girls went. I wasn't there, unfortunately. A couple girls went. You know, everybody's in there. And who comes out of Gary Country Club? Bob Hope. Bob Hope comes out with a bunch of guys. He knew a guy, whatever. There was an event there. It was a very popular, kind of a big-time place, as I learned later. I just thought it was a bunch of rich Northwest Indiana guys. Bob Hope and a couple dudes come out, and Hope does like, I don't know, 2 to 5 minutes, whatever it is, of making fun of everybody out there. And, of course, Davey, for the people that were there, it's a moment they never forgot, right? Because Bob Hope back in those days was Bob freaking Hope, man. It would be like, right? It would be like Dave Chappelle coming out or something, you know? So there you go. I have friends from high school. There was a lot of nudity. I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
Buddy sent me a picture. My girlfriend, Poop Laverty, she had a pool, big house. Yeah, Poop. She had a house. I think the family was connected. Let me just put it that way. On a big lake, but they had a pool. Whenever we'd go over there, she had a sister that was our age, or I was a year younger, and whatever. And we'd always go there. And next thing you know, myself, my boy Worm, a couple others, there was always nudity, always. Yeah, but I've been naked a lot. Walked a couple golf holes naked. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it. You know, what are you going to do? Yeah. It is what it is. I'm just glad in my day there was no cameras. Like, there's a Polaroid, but, you know, a little picture, but there was no cameras. Although, as I just said with McAfee, hell, it might help the show. I don't know.
I need to look it up, Dan, but I don't know if nudist colonies, if the, I guess, percentage has dropped off significantly over the years, or if it's actually going up and we just don't pay attention to it. We did do a story, I think, for the DAM Awards like months ago. It was about the nudist colony. Remember they were going bowling in the nude.
Yeah. Roselawn, Indiana, which is between Indianapolis and Northwest Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Biggest nudist colony in the country, Miss Nude USA was there. I never been, you know, when you're in high school, I think I've told this before, when you're in high school, hey, we're going to Roselawn. I never went, but apparently, you know, it's barbed wire fences. There were, you know, they never got in. I was too scared. I didn't need it, but, you know, yeah.
It's the effort that counts, Dan.
There you go. Could you imagine going to, like, one thing, when I went on my first honeymoon, we went to St. Bart's.
Okay.
And St. Bart's is exclusive, like, beautiful. The trainer at Indiana told us about it and all that. So we went to a beach. We didn't know. There's a million beautiful beaches. They said this beach is the most beautiful. We went. We're hanging out. We're having a nice time. And next thing you know, I'm looking. Everybody, not everybody, but people are naked. And I got to tell you, at St. Bart's, where there's models, you know, Paulina, all these famous people have places there. the average person walking around naked, it ain't that great, Davey. It ain't that big a deal, Davey. I'm just telling you, man. I know what it looks like, in magazines or on the movies. It ain't that spectacular, Davey.
I believe
I'm just
Dan.
telling you.
Yeah, when you just look at the statistics across, I know this wasn't in the U.S., but just nowadays, and the amount of people that are not physically fit, I believe you 100%.
No, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. Mike Fisher inside the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? We're going to get into the hell's going on with the Cowboys as Micah Parsons comes back to see Jerry Jones. We'll be right back. Man, Mike Fisher joins us. Mike Fisher knows more about the Cowboys than anybody. College Insider. Go to Fish Sports on X. I'm going to continue to call it Twitter. CowboysCountry.com as well. All right, the big news, Micah Parsons getting ready to return. Does he deserve a memorial / presentation, video, welcome home? What's he deserve?
My friends on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, the flagship station, Sean and RJ, were the ones that asked that question of Jerry, and he gave the right answer, which was almost saying not only no, but hell no. But I thought it was a very clever question because now it's become a national controversy. And so when I say that it's one of the dumbest topics we've ever discussed, I don't mean it as an insult to any of the parties involved, including Micah, but it is one of the dumbest topics we've ever discussed. He played here 4 years, didn't serve out his entire contract, pretended to take a nap on the sidelines during a game as part of his effort to get out of here, and demanded a trade. And we're rolling out the red carpet for you? Well, we did it for Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith played 18 years, won rushing titles, is the all-time NFL's leading rusher, and won 3 Super Bowls here. As soon as Micah wins 3 Super Bowls in Dallas, I will give him a tribute video. Somebody on ESPN said, well, they gave one to Luka of the Mavericks. When they traded Luka, it was without his knowledge, and he cried. It was so emotionally difficult for him. He didn't ask for a trade. He didn't want to trade. This is nothing like Luka. This is nothing like Emmett. Micah Parsons is the enemy. So Jerry can give him a hug before the game, and players can give him a hug after the game. But there's going to be 80,000 fans there that I think at AT&T Stadium on Sunday night, and I'll be there too, of course, that'll be a little bit conflicted. He's a fun guy, and he's a darn good player. But if I'm a Cowboy fan, I think I'm going to boo him because he demanded to become the enemy, and now he is.
When you say, yeah, but Emmitt Smith got one, you really, okay, I can't talk to you anymore because you're too stupid. And go away. And don't ever come back, right? I mean, The difference, what are you talking about? Like, that's just.
You know what? Take out the Cowboys schedule, okay? So Dan Quinn coached here, and he's the head coach of Washington. So when the Commanders come here, do we give him a tribute video? He was good here. He was good here for a couple of years, same as Micah. And you can go through the whole schedule. You can do that with every team, right?
Sure.
Some guy who you play against this year used to play here or used to coach here. Well, there wouldn't be enough time. The video board isn't big enough to hold all the video tributes. You'd have to do for every single guy who rolls into town, who used to be here, who did well or did great, especially when it comes to a short time. You can't. First of all, I'm against the idea of the tribute video anyway. It's supposed to be us versus them. And I know that at the end of every game, we get in a circle and pray. That's fine. That's at the end of the game. But otherwise, and I know that in the offseason, we all go to Cancun together. But otherwise, I liked it a lot better when the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, back then the Cardinals, and back then the Redskins, actually kind of really did dislike each other. The idea of George Allen giving a tribute video to Tom Landry, for instance, would blow both of their minds if that idea had even been broached.
I'm a cynical man, so I'm going to tell you what, an African-American, by the way, assistant NFL coach told me probably 10 years ago about the prayer after the game on the field. Now, maybe he said, man, get out of here with that. All those players are praying they don't get caught later on tonight. That's what the hell they're praying about. And I honest to God, Mike, I use that line all the time because it's so funny to me, right? I mean, because when it first started, we all like to see. You mentioned coaching. Brian Schottenheimer, it's the hottest seat in football, I think, the Dallas Cowboys coach. I haven't, for a long time, paid attention to any of the national shows, ESPN and others, but they were firing Mike McCarthy every freaking day. Seth Greenberg, the ESPN basketball analyst, came on one of my shows. He said, Dan, we're 90 days since the professional football season. We're in the middle of the NCAA tournament, and this morning on my network, they were firing Mike McCarthy. I haven't heard about, Schottenheimer being under that kind of scrutiny. Is he?
The truth about McCarthy is once the Cowboys lost that playoff game to the Packers, final score, I believe, was 48,000-0. That shocked this organization. The Cowboys were a 7-point favorite against Jordan Love, who was just a baby at the time, and didn't show up. That was not part of the Cowboys' master plan. Mike McCarthy was going to be here long term, and they were going to continue to build with him and that staff. And then that thing, and we termed it blow it up. It became, the philosophy here became blow it up. And the next thing you know, the 2024 season was a mail it in. The Cowboys didn't sign anybody, literally, not because Jerry's cheap. They didn't want to invest in that season. They knew the coaching staff was done. They knew that roster was basically done. And so, to the McCarthy point, the people that were calling for McCarthy's head, frankly, didn't understand. That's not what we do here. That's not what Jerry Jones doesn't fire people 3 games into a season. He doesn't fire people usually when they're still under contract. Part of that's about loyalty. Part of that's about stubbornness. Part of it's about finance. So it's way too early to be roasting Schottenheimer, who's trying to install something here. It's even too early to roast Matt Eberflus, who I know you know, whose defense has been horrific in the last couple of weeks. You're not firing the defensive coordinator in September unless unless he's sleeping with the head coach's wife. But poor performance in September should not get assistant coaches fired. The upside to Schottenheimer is, once upon a time, he's 51 now. Once upon a time, he was Ben Johnson. He was the young hot shot. And then it never quite came together. This was 10 years ago in Seattle or whatever. He was the young next hot shot. It just never happened. So that's only 10 years removed. He hasn't, football hasn't evolved to the point where he's not still hot shot. He's just not as young. So why can't Schottenheimer be Ben Johnson? That's the good news. The bad news is Schotty comes here and in his very first press conference, and I'll never forget it because I never heard anything quite like it. He talked about one of his goals. We're gonna make the Dallas Cowboys have the best culture in sports history. And I'm watching this and I'm scribbling it down. I'm going, what an incredibly bold statement. That's never going to happen. And I don't know if Schotty knew it at the time. For better, sometimes. For worse, a lot of the times. The culture here isn't the coach or the quarterback or the locker room. The culture in Dallas is Jerry. And until you either change that, work through it, or work around it, no coach, the coach is in charge of the football team. Make no mistake. People think Jerry's the coach. That's ridiculous. Jerry doesn't call plays. He doesn't decide who's going to be the 53rd man. He's not in there going, our L4 on the kickoffs. We got to replace that L4. He doesn't remember what the L4 is, and he doesn't know who plays it. That's the coach. But the culture, which is, as I say frequently, and you've heard me say it, sometimes Jerry Jones's Dallas Cowboys seem like a marketing company that plays football on the side. That's not changing. That's the coach's challenge at Dallas.
I feel like this conversation and what you just said could have been said 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago. It's almost like, well, let me ask you, have people kind of stopped blaming Jerry Jones and just kind of accepted this is what we are with him here, good or bad? I mean, it's not been horrible, but, you know, it's like, as I said, Mike, it's the same conversation that I feel has been going on about the Dallas Cowboys for the entire time that I have been in broadcasting, which is, I guess, 15, 20 years now.
Yeah, your point about not horrible is true. The Cowboys, over the course of 30 years, have been good plenty of times. They've been good. It's in the last, I think it's the last 20 years, I think they have the 8th best record in football, 1 loss. That's not terrible. It's just, number one, that the expectations here, I used to say Cowboys fans were spoiled by their Super Bowl success. And I used to get killed for it, but I believed it. I don't say it anymore. I said that 15 years ago. Now it's 15 more years. The spoiled is about gone. But the view on Jerry, and one of the Cowboys' challenges is you'd rather have Cowboys fans be angry at him, which they are, rather than be apathetic. Because by the time you're apathetic, not only forget not buying the T-shirts, now you're starting to not go to the game if you have tickets. You're not clamoring for tickets. If you, like Cowboy fans, a lot of them come to 1 game a year. It's like their family vacation. They come from all over the country, all over Texas. Okay, that starts to go away, and then TV starts to go away. And so apathy is what he doesn't want, to the point where, you know, it's Sunday. I think I am going to stay at church a little longer. And when I get home, I'm going to turn on the game on the radio and clean out the garage. That is the apathetic. It's not just Cowboys, it's everywhere. That's the difference between apathy and anger, and it's a gigantic difference. And it's a dangerous one for a football franchise.
I'm wearing a McAfee jersey, Colts jersey, because the Colts are fun now. I mean, I did exactly. I'd play golf with my wife, turn the game on the radio. I knew I had to talk about it, taped it, so I go home and watch it. But I wasn't going to waste a Sunday. I know exactly what you're saying. I want to go back for a second to Micah Parsons. Most people are talking about how the fans, Jerry Jones, whomever, are going to react. You covered Micah Parsons. How will Micah Parsons react to coming back?
Oh, theatrically. If you're looking for one word, he's going to look at this like it's his stage. He will, when people boo him, he will encourage it, and you'll see it. When people boo Jerry, he might encourage that too. Listen, he is a bundle of fun. He's really a smart, fun, entertaining, energetic guy. But a fair criticism of him over the course of his time was, you know, he's almost football ADD, where he just always wants something going on. And that's the best way to explain his social media presence, which people inside the building found to be a problem. And they tried to tell him that. Michael Irvin and others tried to advise him that you got to keep your eye on that one prize. And going on Twitter, or X, and having comments about the president, and comments about traffic, and comments about Brittany Griner, doing a radio show or a podcast where he's predicting the outcome of this Sunday's games, including teams that he's about to play. That's just ill-advised. And it always has been and it always will be. It's not smart football, but it does speak to his ADD. You know, people over the years here, they said, Micah got to play. They played Micah at running back in practice today. I wonder if they let Micah get a carry in practice once in a while or return a punt because he's ADD, not because he's a punt returner. He was bored over there, and they realized that, hey, Micah, go return a punt just to keep him invested and involved. So all that stuff's fun, but now this Packers team has paid him. I mean, they are super committed. That's $47 million a year. I wonder if somebody in Green Bay at some point won't say, Micah, we'll let you carry the ball in practice. We'll let you return a punt, but we need your focus to be on the thing. And Micah at 26, we all do, right? When you were 26, you were a slapdick. I know you were. And then you figured out how to focus on something. It's the same thing with conditioning. That 26-year-old who eats wrong and stays up too late, he gets to be about 29 and he realizes, professional athlete, if I eat wrong and stay too late, I'm not going to be a professional athlete much longer. I think Micah Parsons will eventually come to that realization. Unfortunately for Dallas, that will happen in Wisconsin.
At 26, my nose was so far up Bob Knight's ass, I couldn't see the sun. So, that's just,
I knew it.
and that would be the very definition of being a slapdick. So let me ask you, all things considered, are the Cowboys a good team? Do they have enough offense? You and I were talking to overcome a bad defense, a bad secondary. Where do you see this season headed? Because to your point, nobody talks about 24 being a throwaway year, at least internally on the team, until the next year. This isn't a throwaway year, is it, for the Cowboys?
This was not designed to be a throwaway year. Whereas last year, and you can call it whatever you want, I just called it blow it up. They did not commit.
Yeah, blow it up.
Winning last year.
Yeah.
They didn't forfeit. They weren't tanking. They just didn't, as an organization, didn't commit. Then Dak Prescott got hurt in week 9, and that accelerated that thinking. The problem with trying to measure this offense this Sunday or for the next couple is they don't have CeeDee Lamb injured for a few weeks. They don't have the center, Beebe, who's a good one, injured. They don't have the first-round rookie Booker, the right guard, who has a chance to be a great one. So there's still weaponry on this offense, and with Dak Prescott and George Pickens, there can still be fireworks, but they are going to need fireworks to win games because they're not going to win games by defensive playmaking, and that's going to be their problem. They could score, theoretically, they could score 30 on Sunday night and then lose 37-30, which sounds, by the way, like a decent enough prediction.
There you go. That's great stuff, man. I appreciate you coming on, Mike. That's there you go. There it is. Anything you want to know about the Cowboys, Micah Parsons' side, Cowboys side? Mike Fisher just gave it to you. Thank you, my friend. Hope you'll come back. That's great. Fantastic.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, hey, it's a big deal, right? I remember being here and the Pacers gave Paul George a freaking tribute video. Now, he had been here a while, but he's the same as Parsons. He acted like a jackass to get out. And I'm sitting there going, why are you giving this guy a tribute video? He didn't want to be here. But somebody told me in the Pacers organization, you got to do it to kiss the ass of players because basically it's college recruiting before the NIL, with the money, NIL money. I don't know. Good for the Cowboys. Hope Jerry Jones stands by that. There's absolutely no reason to give Micah Parsons any kind of effing thing ever other than an ass kicking and an adios. That's what you want to do. It started out well. It started out really well. DeChambeau hit it into the neck on number 1. They got a birdie. They got up, and now the United States is getting its ass kicked. Right now, they're getting destroyed in a few matches, down 3-1 in the morning. I guess it's foursomes, which is golf talk for alternate shot. I watched it to start it was spectacular. Joe Kinsey's there. We're going to talk to Joe when we come back. In the stands was unbelievable. DeChambeau hits it right into the neck, the flyover, and our guy, Joe Kinsey, was right there for all of it. Joltin' Joe, set the mood, set the scene from the start, please.
Dan, Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas just hit a big putt. They had to stop the bleeding, Dan. I'll tell you what, the atmosphere here could not be more electric. I am behind number 1 right now. This is where Donald Trump's going to be here in about 2 hours, Dan. He has a box right behind the number 1 tee box. I'll tell you what, it is going. If this morning was electric, wait till you see this afternoon. I cannot wait to see what we get into here with President Trump.
What was it like when I saw Thomas and DeChambeau came out wrapped in the American flag? DeChambeau hits it into the neck. The Americans the Europeans hit it into the rough. The Americans win the first hole. Couldn't have asked for a better start, Joe, but it hasn't gone that way.
It was the perfect start, followed by an absolute collapse. I heard Justin Thomas couldn't make a putt. That's the rumor in the media room. Listen, on number one, they come out, Dan. They're wrapped in the flag. The anticipation is high, and Bryson just smokes one over these trees right into the middle of the fairway. Justin Thomas puts it on. Bryson putts in for birdie. You couldn't ask for a better start, and then the wheels fall off. So, we got to get going in the afternoon. I don't know what Keegan Bradley has up his sleeves, but we got to get it turned around because these early matches are about over with, Dan.
Well, a couple are down. Americans are down 4 on the back 9. That's almost impossible. Joe, Keegan Bradley's not going to be criticized. He's on the right side of the media. I don't know how you can be criticized for putting DeChambeau and Justin Thomas out first. I don't know who you play against Tommy Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy. Those two dudes just seem like they're so tough to beat, and they're crushing souls right now.
Yeah. No, nobody's really questioning. I mean, it's early. It's early, Dan. We got to get that first match. Bryson and Justin have to come back. But you know what? The fans are just waiting for something to go crazy about. I mean, these first 3 matches are so lopsided that the fans are like waiting and waiting and waiting. We need a little action. I think President Trump is going to bring the energy and get this place invigorated for this afternoon. I can't wait.
Oh, Joe, I love it. Long time. We've seen a lot of pictures as you're talking. Hey, the atmosphere. Walk me through how getting into Bethpage was. You mentioned off the air as we see the flyover right there, which gave me goosebumps. I turned it on at 7, and it was freaking awesome. What was it like to get in? Yeah, walk me through up until the first tee your morning, including the flyover, including, getting there, waking up at 4.
Dan, listen to how this day started. At 3:08 this morning, the fire alarm goes off in the hotel, the media hotel. I think the Europeans pulled a fast one. I think somebody pulled the fire alarm. 3:08, I wake up. I said, the hell with it, Dan. I'm up. I get on the 4 a.m. bus. It takes an hour to get here from JFK. We roll in. It was easy to get in. But as we're walking in, Dan, all these people are running to get to the number 1 tee box because you have this stadium here where all these fans are gathered. A lot of them haven't even moved since this morning. They sit here because they know the afternoon's coming. They know it's going to be energized. But to get in here, if you're just a regular fan, it is not easy, Dan. It is packed. They said the lines were very long. I had a buddy said it was 2 hours to get in. So it is tough to get in. But once you're in, this place is amazing. I didn't realize, Dan, hilly. I had no idea this place was so hilly and muddy. We're going to see some great content, Dan. Keep your head on a swivel for my feeds this weekend. You're going to see people going down in mud piles. It's muddy and wet. So, I'm a content guy. I can't wait to see somebody go down.
Well, we're already seeing American jerseys, USA jerseys, people wrapped in Abe Lincoln hats as we see. Joe, what is the costume scene like there? What's the costumes like?
Well, there's a lot of president costumes. Then you have Ben Franklin, Paul Revere. You have the Abe Lincoln. I saw Theodore Roosevelt. Here's the thing I love about this. This is my first time at anything like this. The beauty of it is the stupider you are, the better it is. So you just let it go here. That's the thing. It's not a normal golf tournament, Dan. This is where the New Yorkers are like, the hell with it. We're just going to have fun, chance, and they were trying to rip on Rory at the start, but now Rory's kicking our ass, so it's kind of tough to be ripping on Rory at this point. So, but yeah, the costumes are amazing. I got to get back out here.
Was it, last thing before I let you go, was it weird to see on the first tee, nobody on TV, it seemed like anyway, gave 2 shits that they were at a golf tournament? Nobody was quiet. I assume those guys have their hands up telling everybody to be quiet. Nobody gave a shit, right?
No, that's a great point. There's people cracking jokes up above in the stands. There's jokes flying everywhere. The quiet please, the lady that reads their names, the starter, she was like, quiet please. And as soon as she said quiet please, the crowd goes nuts not being quiet. So, and now they're serving alcohol. This morning they weren't serving. Now the alcohol is flowing. So this afternoon should be way rowdier than this morning. So buckle up. I think it's at 12:20 is the second half of the day. So it's going to be exciting.
Hey, last thing, Joe. Here's the deal. What time did they start serving alcohol, and why didn't they serve alcohol from the get-go? Nice mimosa, maybe a Bloody Mary, couple shots of whiskey. What time did they start?
That is a great question. I will find that out because they did not serve, 10 o'clock? They did not start serving until, I think, 9. So I don't know whether state laws are 9 a.m., but the Europeans are starting to pound the Mick Ultras, Dan. I think they're going to have to drink about 60 of those to get them, lit up because these Euros, they drink heavier beer and all that. But, the beer is now flowing, and we're ready to roll. It's going to be great.
Where are you going right now? You said you got to get back out there. Where are you going?
Well, there's a walkway, Dan, around the clubhouse, and I feel like that's where all the excitement is. All the costumes, all the people, they kind of congregate behind number 18. So I'm going to go back out there. I just walk around. I look for people that want to be on camera. They want to be on camera, Dan. They want those costumes seen. So I just sit there and just pick them off one by one. You can probably, Dan, you can probably hear it. They're going to start to get crowdy. The crowd's going right now. Here we go, Dan. You hear it, Dan? Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, I love it, man. This is fun. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Joe, be safe out there. Buddy of mine, I read it to you off the air. Buddy of mine got hit, or buddy's buddy got hit by a semi. They're fine, but damn. All right, Joe.
Hey, be safe
Thanks,
out there,
buddy.
folks.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Stay
We'll
safe.
see you,
Keep your head on a swivel and have some beer. See you, buddy. There he goes. I wouldn't want to be on our show during Bethpage Black. I want to be out there frolicking, kibitzing, getting muddy, getting dirty. I'll be rolling around, causing a scene. But anyway, the Ryder Cup, United States is down 4 in a couple match. DeChambeau and Justin Thomas are down 2, and then there's one match with Cantlay. He's up 1, so that's the only match in the first 4, where the United States is winning. So it looks like, at least, that in the morning outing, it is going to be 3-1, United States down. 3 points. Oh, what is it? 14.5 points, something like that. 13.5, maybe 14 points to win the cup. We'll see what happens. Speaking of winning, I got a little addiction that I'm going to tell you about. It's just a little addiction. I'm an addictive personality, which is why I've never done drugs, never really smoked weed, and really only drank professionally. Well, really never. Anyway, I like Prize Picks. I do. I think Prize Picks is fun. And I give you bets, and they always hit. Like, I'm up a lot of money, so here's my Prize Picks of the week. See what I did there? Aaron Rodgers, I'm a little iffy on this. I am. I'm not going to lie. But I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Big stage, international audience, overseas, first game. I'm going to watch it. So I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. I am. I think Aaron Rodgers throws a touchdown pass in this game. And sticking with that theme, first game, early morning, I'm going to be with a cup of coffee, probably, well, I don't know, getting ready to go do something during the day, 9:30. I'm going to take Carson Wentz to go ahead and throw for a touchdown. It's 0.5 TD passes. I'm going more than in both cases. I'm going each throws at least 1. And you can download Prize Picks. All you got to do is download the app. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH, that's Dakich, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's code DAKICH, Dakich, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. It's really good to be right. Davey, let's do it, baby. It's the hot seat with Dan Dakich. Someone is under fire for a terrible decision. Could be a coaching. Yeah. Who's in charge of my body, my Uncle Fester-looking body right there? I don't know if I like that. All right.
I hadn't heard that one before. Dan. I
right.
like the Uncle Fester reference.
I'm not mad.
Yeah. No, to get us started, Dan, last night, Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, the Arizona Cardinals, the Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals look atrocious, and they managed to come back from down 20-6 in the fourth quarter. It's 20-19. The Cardinals offense has all the momentum, and instead of just going for the win right there, go for two, they decide to kick the extra point and play for overtime.
I'm kicking the extra point. I'm not going for two. Look, you go for two, you don't get it, you lose. I know they lost eventually, but I got to be able to trust my defense. There's not a chance in hell in that situation. I know a lot of people, and including you, are saying they should have. I am not. I don't think that's conservative. I think that's smart. In modern football, and maybe, again, you're probably right and I'm probably wrong, but if you get it, you still got to get a stop. I don't know. I just, to me, I'm tying that bad boy up. I'm at home. There used to be a rule, keep it tied at home, play for overtime, go for the win on the road, that kind of thing. I'm sticking to that, Davey. I'm not going for two in that situation. I trust my defense. It didn't work. No. And it wouldn't have worked if we had a 1-point lead anyway, but I get your point. Yeah. I do. I get the point.
I feel you, Dan. The reason I bring this up is because, as you remember the interview with Mark Schlereth, he was talking, this came down to the 2-point conversions, and it's just like, how many 2-point conversions do you think these teams have prepared? Now, granted, this would have been like the one time they would have done it, but it also just goes back to the analytics behind it. And at the end of the day, I think it's kind of a moot point, but I mean, on social media, people were making a big deal about it because
I know
the Cardinals kicked it short of the landing zone right after that, and Seattle was able to win in regulation anyway because that final touchdown was scored with 28 seconds. Seattle was able to get in, I think it was like a 52-yarder for Jason Myers. But I kind of like the idea of you've got all the momentum going for you, and with the new rules for overtime, like if this would have been 3 years ago, I would have said go for it right then and there. But now with the new overtime rules and having that momentum, I understand why they didn't. So I'm not necessarily
The problem is the kickoff. That's the problem. Yeah. And the kickoff, when you put somebody, a professional team, you let them get to the 40, you got a problem. Particularly when it's only a field goal. I mean, the kickers these days are insane. Like even if a guy misses a 60, I saw a guy miss a 64, 65-yarder. Was it Monday night or Sunday night football? And he had a ton of leg. He just, whipped it off a little left. I get both sides. I really do. I understand it, but you got to execute the kickoff. And you know what? I know Trump and others, and maybe I'll ask you. I know Trump and others have said, well, it's a sissy thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. I kind of think it's interesting, this kickoff thing, and it adds to more points, and that's a good thing. Where are you at with that?
So I understand why the NFL's made the changes they had, and I think if Trump was in their shoes, he probably wouldn't have the stance he would because he would be the one cutting the check based off all the concussions and injuries that have come out after all these studies. But at least this year, they've changed the rule to where we've seen a lot more kickoffs. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I like that we're getting more of these returns now. Granted, it's not what you grew up with, you're used to, and what you even still see in college. But I like that we are getting more returns at the NFL level now. So I don't have a problem with that. It was getting to the point to where it was a wasteless play.
Right. Yeah. Russell Wilson in the center of some controversy. What you got?
So Russell Wilson, Dan, I don't know if you've seen this before, but people are arguing he is now playing himself out of the Hall of Fame with how bad things have been since he has left Seattle. And is Russell Wilson ever going to be a starting quarterback again?
Well, he's not going to be a starting quarterback again, assuming Jackson Dart can play a little bit. His brain is old enough that he can handle, I assume, being benched and coming back. But that's not the issue. The issue is these jackass former players like Tony Gonzalez and that criminal Richard Sherman who get on the air, and now things like, if ever there's been someone who played himself out of a Hall of Fame, it's Russell Wilson. And that career criminal Richard Sherman. Without that legendary defense in Seattle, which, oh, by the way, Richard Sherman was a part of, he's been 4-11, 7-8, 0-3 to start with the Giants. I didn't see anybody, not one person, because he's a Manning, right? I haven't seen one person criticize Eli Manning. Eli Manning and Russell Wilson won Super Bowls. I didn't see one person criticize him. He basically got benched and was smart enough to retire. I think it's bullshit what has been done last night, or what was done last night by these two idiots. It gets exhausting watching people. In fact, Tony Gonzalez, I know who Tony Gonzalez was as a college basketball player, as an AAU basketball player. I recruited a kid, Charlie Miller, off his AAU team to come to Indiana. Tony Gonzalez has become a mouth. Good for him. He's always been pretty, obviously. But he's full of shit if he thinks he could have played in the NBA. Zero chance. He played on bad Cal teams, put up a little bit of numbers, but all these jackasses now got to talk. I don't have any respect, none, zero zip, for Richard Sherman and his mouth. When he did that thing, yelling and screaming with Aaron Andrews, and every white reporter, including our douchebag Greg Doyle, had to say, well, you know, he's really smart. He went to Stanford. I said, my ass. He's an idiot with no self-awareness. The arrests go to that point. The arrests prove exactly what I said. He's an idiot with no self-awareness, but Amazon, for whatever the reason, can't find another African-American to fill his shoes, which I'll never understand. But when that jackass speaks, I got nothing. And Tony Gonzalez, keep being pretty, keep doing your thing, blah, 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 blah. It's horse shit. It's ridiculous. It's the biggest freaking indictment of those idiots on the worst set in sports. Yes, I said sports. I didn't say the NFL. I didn't say in football, including college, in sports. Throw in the Golf Channel in there, throw in the Ocho. The idiots on that staff, from that frickin' Ryan Fitzmagic, who was awful, to the big fat guy Whitworth, who thinks he's a philosopher, to the criminal, and now to the pretty boy, they all suck. And all you got to do to add to it is go to that Clarissa Thompson, who I knew before she thought she was anything, which she does now. Her and Aaron Andrews' podcast, where all they do is frickin' bitch. They bitch, whine, and moan about how hard this job is. You couldn't, oh, shut up, all of you. I do not watch. In fact, when it went to halftime last night, I turned on 2.5 Men and watched a rerun of shit that I've seen 7,000 times. I got nothing. Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney, great rant, Dan. Can I ask you a question real quick, going back to Russell before we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have no arguments with what you said, but with Russell Wilson, one of the things I've seen more and more former players kind of come out and just it seems as though they don't like the guy. And when you continue to get these comments, is that like a situation where it's just like he was a problem in the locker room? Is that kind of how you take it as somebody that's been in these situations?
Not even a little bit. He wasn't a problem in the locker room. He's been a problem post that locker room where he marries a star. He's become a political guy, wants an office. He did what A-Rod did. He did exactly what A-Rod did. In fact, I would bet you money that at some point he and A-Rod, or he views A-Rod as a mentor, tried to become a movie star, tried to become bigger than you as a politician. And the one thing we've always said on this show and will continue to say, players know bullshit. Players know bullshit from head coaches, assistant coaches, equipment managers, GMs, ownership, former players, broadcasters. Players know bullshit. And when Russell Wilson was trying to make it, he was not a bullshit guy. When Russell Wilson made it and became, quote, Russell Wilson, then he became a bullshit guy. I've had more people inside the NFL tell me that. So now Russell Wilson is on the wrong side. So players don't like that, what he's become, so they rip him. It's like the media and Belichick. Everybody knew Belichick was on the wrong side of the media, but you couldn't say anything because he was winning Super Bowls. All of a sudden, he ain't going so well. Now people rip him, even his own former players. Doesn't mean he was a problem in the locker room when he was with him. It means that he's been a problem with former players and others as a phony post that. Dabo Sweeney.
Yes, sir. Dabo Sweeney, love the insight on that, Dan. Dabo, obviously, it has been a rough year for Clemson, and people are asking, as a guy that was reluctant to embrace the transfer portal, not a guy that has been very fond of the NIL era, has the game just passed Dabo by, and is it time for Clemson to move on?
I don't think it's time yet. I'll tell you why. Dabo Sweeney needs to sack the hell up, shut the fuck up, Mom, get a bunch of money and go buy some real players. There's a lot of money. See, people don't know this, but there's something called IPTE. I pay $10,000 a year. Started way back when Clemson understood we're Clemson. The state's called South Carolina. North Carolina and Dean Smith is over here. Duke, even though in the 70s was really good, 78, went to the national championship game in basketball, they needed to do something. So Tate Slock, the football coach, they came up with this thing called IPTE. I pay $10,000 a year. Well, my point, they're the first team that had a booster club that paid money. They need to get back to that. Now, in the world of NIL, Dabo Sweeney needs to be humbled. Dabo Sweeney needs to say, screw this. I'm going the route of blue chips. It's legal now to pay guys. Go get real guys. That Klubnik guy, you missed on. DJ Ungale, you missed on. Figure out what those two guys weren't. And go get somebody that is, meaning was a dad's two involved. Was one guy a figment of our imagination and didn't have the internal toughness, Klubnik? You got to figure that out. No, I would stick with Dabo Sweeney. I certainly would give him another year. But if I were the athletic director, I'm not listening to the big shit coach tell me, fire me. I'm not listening to all of his accolades from a few years ago. Big boy football, big boy money, big boy consequences for a lot of people. Get out there, spend some damn money, go get a couple billionaires, if there's such a thing, that love Clemson, and go win some games. However, the other side is this. If people know inside the program that are smart and objective, know that Sweeney has lost a step, know he's not working as hard as he used to, then you got to make a change, and only then. But I got to give him, well, the rest of this year for sure, and certainly next year, and then, only then. But I don't even think, I would bet they didn't do this. I would bet they did not have any really tough conversations with Dabo Sweeney. I bet you they didn't, and they need to. They have to.
I would agree with that.
What else you got?
That's all we got for On the Hot Seat, Dan. I think you definitely ripped through those, man. That was some entertaining stuff. The last thing I'll make with Dabo is, this is also a team that was in the college football playoff last year. The ACC, that's not a difficult conference, so it's not going to be super hard for him to turn things around if he is embracing things the way he needs to. He doesn't have to face an SEC or a Big Ten type schedule.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go out there. You figured out a way to make Clemson right there and beating Alabama for national championships. Now, a lot of people are saying he got lucky with a couple quarterbacks. I don't know whether he did or didn't. I have no idea. But I know this. That current quarterback, and I don't know why I'm on his ass more than others. I know we did a video the other day of it, but that current quarterback sucks. I'm watching him, and I'm going, hold the phone here. This guy, what? He's supposed to be, He's supposed to be a top 10 quarterback? No. Ain't happening. They've got to figure that out, and frankly, it's up to people to stand up to Sweeney, because when I saw that freaking thing, here's my record. I thought, wow, two things. Wow, I didn't know you had that kind. That's pretty good. I'm not getting rid of you. And two, Bobby Knight Jr. And they all know what happened to Bobby Knight Sr. Got his ass fired. All right, when we come back, it's Bear Week. And I'll give you an update on what's going on. It ain't good in the Ryder Cup. We'll be right back.
Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code OUTKICK and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Are we live? Can somebody text me if we're live now?
USA! 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 Let's cut the bullshit. How much Kentucky offer you?
Keith Olbermann. I didn't even know who he was.
Right here with President Trump.
We need to remember that we're all still Americans.
Young men have rejected the woke culture of the United States.
Watch this cannonball. Just keep your shirt on.
Bam! Gun show. Tickets available.
I know that you're somebody that's very big on parental rights.
We're the parents. We have the fundamental right to direct their education. It really should be called the LT backer. It really should, because you changed the game.
I'm going to do my Jerry Jones impression. Very disappointed that the Dallas Cowboys aren't in the Super Bowl this year.
And I remember coming home that night, and I said to my wife, I said, I don't think I want to stay at ESPN.
Rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud.
I wanted to build that trust this year with my guys on the Texans.
I've succeeded. Now it's time for me to just ride off into the sunset.
Why not just settle and make all this go away?
The damage has been done.
Is it important to you that you are the highest paid person on ESPN?
I'm not stuttering. Hell yes. I said, you know what? I got to do it with Tyrus because I respect him.
Be bold, be courageous, stand firm, don't apologize for it.
I don't believe there's any website in America growing faster than OutKick is.
I'm getting overly optimistic, and you got a chicken finger on your knee, so.
Your guy, Aaron Rodgers, you worried about him?
They look bad, don't they?
Yes.
You really got to lean into the turns. You got to lean into the turns.
If you were 5'10", what would you be doing?
I'll be saying, hey, welcome to McDonald's. Can I help you, please? If someone tells you you're good and you're not, wouldn't you rather have that person tell you the truth?
I really don't care. And I think that's when you become free.
It is utterly misogynistic for a man in a miniskirt to be stealing women's opportunities.
We cannot let this be normalized.
We need to see that fathers are capable of great things, especially in the last 3.5 years. A complete dismemberment of what it is to be a man. We're under attack.
They should not be bitching. They should be on their knees thanking God.
You say whatever you want. Whatever you want.
DBAP unless you need to SBAP. This has been OutKick, the show.
Boom.
Man, that was amazing.
Wow.
No, I've seen a lot of that. That was good.
I've seen a lot too, but as well as that.
All right, the Ryder Cup's going on, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I got a message from a former PGA of America president saying, man, you're kind of right. The more I listen to the Americans, the more I dislike them. I mean, I root for them. I bet on them. I did because that's what I do. I didn't bet much because I think the Europeans are going to kill them. They got better players. You look at the top 10, there's better players on the European side, but having said that, Keegan Bradley has been Captain America. Keegan Bradley is protected by the media. Everybody talked about what a great job. I heard this before the Ryder Cup. This was like Wednesday. Whenever I went to see my mom, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I heard about Keegan Bradley doing such a great job as the Ryder Cup captain. Now, they're getting their ass kicked. I don't know. Davey, people did not like Zach Johnson. People criticized Azinger, whoever. Is Keegan Bradley on the right side of the media enough that he's not going to get criticized when and if the United States gets its ass kicked in this?
No, I think all bets are on the table for the criticism coming in, especially if this goes as south as it's been so far. If they lose and it's not even close, no, he's gonna face a lot of criticism. I don't think they're holding back. Really? Okay.
I disagree. I think he's so on the right side of the media and became like this beloved figure because he played so well and then didn't take himself onto the team. What a selfless act I heard. What a great job. All right. Davey, I don't know why I'm even asking this question because you're probably right again. I just feel like, and I've just put it out on X, I just feel like he's not going to get that level. Like Zach Johnson just caught shit from the time he was the captain because he's an unlikable, mealy mouth. I don't know. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I don't know. You're probably right. We'll see. Hope they don't get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
How about that one?
I hope they turn it around. I would say because he was playing so well going into this event, had he put himself in as one of the slots, I think if that were the situation, then he would probably face even more criticism if that were the case. But
probably.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. I agree, Davey. I agree with that. I agree that, if you lost, obviously if you win, everything's great, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but if you lose, then, the update that I have here, Terrell Hatton and John Rahm are up 3 through 14, so there's 15, 16, 17, 18. Better get going. Man, that Fitzpatrick or Fitzgerald, whatever the hell his name is, in Auburn, they're just taking through 14 holes, again, up 4 over Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henley. McIlroy and Fleetwood. I don't know about you, Davey, but if you said to me, all right, who do you want to hang out with? McIlroy or Fleetwood or Harrison English and Colin Morikawa? Give me freaking McIlroy and Fleetwood. I think those two guys would just be a blast. I wouldn't want to play them for money, but I'd like to hang out and go pint for pint or beer for beer with them.
In solidarity with Dylan, I will also pick the Fleetwood team. The one thing I did see on Rory, I had a friend send this to me, but it was probably the best heckle you'll see in a long time. But Rory was trying to button his top button on his shirt, and the guy just said, "Roy, you don't need a button to choke."
Yeah. And the best thing to do with that is come out and kick everybody's ass. Yeah. And that's exactly what the Americans are doing. All right. It's Bear Week. It's Fat Bear Week. What am I talking about? I don't know. Fat Bear Week is an annual, lighthearted, but meaningful online competition held each fall at the Katmai National Park in Alaska as bears in Katmai gear up for hibernation. They gorge on salmon. Look at this. And pack on as much fat as possible. What? The fattest, most successful bear in doing so gets crowned during Fat Week. All right. I mean, if you're going to go sleep for 6 months and not eat, you might as well, I don't know, you might as well eat. And if you're eating salmon, it's heart healthy. You get those omega-3 things in you, and away you go. And, that's not farm salmon. That's as fresh as you can get. What if bears die of heart attacks? Davey, you got any intel on this? Do bears die of heart attacks? Is there anything that bears, you can equate to the human body? Do they have dementia? Do they get, what do they do?
I'm not a vet. I'll be honest with you, Dan. I don't have a great answer on that. Obviously, being able to hibernate, I'm sure the system is completely different. As I think I've told you once before, the main bear facts I know I learned from the movie Strange Wilderness. And it's that bears derive their name from a football team in Chicago, and that bears attack roughly 2 million salmon a year. Attacks by salmon on bears are much more rare.
All right, there you go. And Nick just chimed in. He asked ChatGPT the answer, yes, bears can die of heart attacks. When you're a big fat slob like me and bears, it's always a possibility. Hey, I'm going last thing right now. Let's do it. Last thing. There's a couple sayings, and they're both... Shut up. Who am I punching when I see him? Come on, people. Damn. Pretty close, though. All right. Somebody take a picture and send it to me if you don't mind. Anyway, there's a couple of things that really, they go against one another. All right? One is, when you're on a hot streak, stay, bet more. And the other is water finds its level. Now, they're not exactly as close as you think because, when you're on a hot streak gambling, you do have to double down. Cold streak, just get the hell out, walk away, do your thing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Indiana the state football, the Colts, and, of course, Indiana University. When you're on a hot streak, continue betting. So here's what I'm going to give you this weekend, and I'm not shying away from it. I'm taking Indiana football. It's a 3:30 game, I do believe, against Iowa in Iowa City. Now, you got to understand, doesn't happen a lot with Cignetti, where he goes and had to play a solid team. The line has really jumped. The line is now 8.5. I'm going to move that to 8 or even pay a little more to go to 7. But I'll take 8.5 as well. I'm staying with Indiana. The over-under is 47.5. I'm not sure. Indiana gets on a roll. They can drop 7 touchdowns. That'd be 49. I'm taking the 47.5. So I'm going to bet both. If you ask me gun to head, which bet would I take? 100 out of 100 times, I'm taking the over 47.5. I may be taking Indiana over if it was 57.5, which I've done of late. I'm riding the Hoosiers, baby. I'm riding like Ron Turcotte, the late Ron Turcotte, on Secretariat. And then I got to tell you, this is not going to be an easy game for the Indianapolis Colts. But I'm going to take, and you can go and get this on Prize Picks, more than. I'm going to take Daniel Jones more than 209.5 passing yards. Now, it may have changed. I don't know. I haven't looked. But that's what it was the other day. Prize Picks more thans are really fun. But also, I'm taking the Colts. I'm taking the Colts. I'm not shying away from Danny Dimes. I'm on a mission here. Colts are getting 3.5. I don't know. Maybe the Rams can beat them by a touchdown. Maybe they will beat them by a touchdown. Don't know. Everybody tells me Rams got a nice defense. I'm also going to take the money line. 86% of the time, 87% of the time, according to a buddy of mine, guess what? The team, if they are an underdog, follow me here, the underdog that covers also wins. So the saying, sprinkle a little bit on the money line, boom! Thank you for this. More than is now 215.5. I'm busting that too. Danny Dimes is going to have, 140, 150 by halftime. So I'm riding. I'm riding with the home team. I'm taking the Colts, 3.5, I'm taking over 49.5. I'm taking Indiana over the both teams, 47.5. And I'm taking the Hoosiers, and I'll give the 8.5, but I'd like to move it down. I hate the hook. I don't know. I hate the freaking hook. Hey, thanks, Molly. Thanks, Ryan. Great work, Davey. Nick, all week long. You guys are fantastic. Go USA, but damn. Hey, we'll see you Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.